Hey everyone, finished watching the next Power Rangers Dino Thunder episode, Fighting Spirit. And I'm out in the woods today because there's kind of a sort of important part of the episode that takes place in a forest. So, yeah, let's get into the summary. Tommy's still invisible and thinks his Dino Gem might be able to make him visible because, I don't know. Elsewhere, Elsa is using Tyrannodrones to excavate a glowing crystal. Back at the lab, the Dino Gem plan worked, but now Tommy is unconscious. His Dino Gem has split into three. He gets stuck in amber, stuck morphed, stuck invisible, now he's unconscious, and his Dino Gem is broken.
That is one unlucky guy.
At the Island Fortress, the White Ranger clone has made a new Pterosaurus monster, and Elsa feeds it the glowing crystal from earlier. Alright. Then she says it has the same power as the Ranger's Dino Gems. Alright. I mean, they have a ranger on their side. Why can't they? Whatever. Haley takes Tommy to the hospital, and the doctor is unsure what's wrong with him. Connor then, for some reason, goes by himself to fight the Pterosaurus. And then Ethan and Kira show up, but no Trent. Like, they were all together. Why isn't Trent there? Tommy, still unconscious, dreams of meeting himself as the Red Zeo Ranger. The mysterious ranger begins to fight him. Tommy looks to his morpher, but his Dino Gem is gone. Back to the Rangers. Trent finally shows up to help, but then gets immediately demorphed. Did somebody just want Trent out of the show or something? There's yet another story going on in all this. Cassidy is at the news station. Her boss sends her and Devin out to get footage of the Rangers in battle. Back in Tommy's dream, the Red Zeo Ranger teleports away. Suddenly, Tommy finds himself in a murky forest. He hears his own voice calling to him, followed by a familiar evil laugh. Out of the shadows steps his next opponent, the mighty Morphin White Ranger. Back with the Rangers, they're still fighting with Pterosaurus. One by one, each of them gets demorphed, and when they try to morph again, they can't. Now that they're vulnerable, Pterosaurus leaves. Yeah. This is such a weird thing in Dino Thunder that the monsters will just leave. Cassidy and Devin arrive to the scene, and they ask the Rangers, didn't the Rangers show up? And they're like, no, they never showed up. And Cassie and Devin are like, well, that's weird. Back in Tommy's dream, he continues fighting the White Ranger. He bests his doppelganger and watches as he disappears, warning that his toughest challenge is yet to come. The story is getting interesting, so let's get back to Cassidy and Devin and the news station boss. The boss wants to do a story about the Rangers abandoning Reefside. Cassidy's all on board, but Devin thinks they need to know more before doing a story like that, and he leaves. The Rangers go to see Tommy in the hospital, and he's still unconscious. They see a news report about the Pterosaurus attacking again, but they still can't morph to do anything about it. In Tommy's dream, the setting has changed again, this time to green-tinted ruins overgrown by forest. Suddenly, the Dragon Dagger materializes. Its sound is really off for some reason. Ugh. Can't stand that. He looks up to see the Green Ranger, his first Ranger form. Something's off with him, though. Silver stripes mark his helmet. The Green Ranger catches the Dragon Dagger and plays that same weird tune from before, but this time it's accompanied by lightning. Once again, too interesting, I guess, so back to the Rangers. They decide to fight without their powers. Then back to Tommy again. What was the point of that? The Green Ranger insists Tommy give up. When Tommy refuses, saying that's something he'll never do, the Green Ranger sheaths the Dragon Dagger and extends a hand. He tells Tommy he's passed the test. His other Ranger forms appear and tell him that he hasn't been fighting them, he's been fighting for his life. They each hold out their hands, and in each of them is a piece of his Dino Gem. He takes them and wakes up in the hospital, and in his hand is his Dino Gem, now whole once more. Cassidy does the story for the news station guy, but then adds at the end that she has faith the Rangers will return, much to her boss's disapproval. Tommy joins his team against the Pterosaurus and morphs. He destroys the monster, the Rangers get their powers back. Apparently their powers were sucked into that glowing crystal from before. The monster grows, the Rangers destroy it with the Megazord. Back at the lab, Tommy thanks the Rangers for always being there for him. So, fan favorite episode here, and I didn't care for it. Elsa's glowing crystal amounts to nothing. Why couldn't stealing the Ranger powers just be a thing, like an ability the monster had to begin with? Why was the crystal part of the story? Why did it have to be excavated? How did Elsa know about it and know what it did? And also, like, this excavation set is, like, completely new. It's not something that's been in Power Rangers before. Was this, like, recycled from Lord of the Rings? Is this that same, like, mine that Saruman is having the orcs dig up a bunch of other orcs? Was that why this is here? Did they, like, have access to that, and they were like, oh, hey, write in a scene where someone's digging something up, and we can use it? It's kind of weird. The White Ranger clone shows up, but then doesn't actually join the fight. What a wuss. The fights against Pterosaurus are weird. The Rangers don't all make it to the fight at the same time, and then Pterosaurus just leaves for no reason. Like, he's got the upper hand, and then he leaves. I don't understand. What is... The standout part of this episode, everyone remembers, is Tommy's story, but there's another story going on too, Cassidy's. I really think they could have cut that, or maybe kept this and trimmed the Rangers fighting the monster. Neither of these plots are anywhere near as interesting or cool as Tommy's, but Tommy gets 1/3 of the plot of an episode with an A, B, and C plot. I really don't understand what the point of such restraint here. This was a unique opportunity, but it's not treated like it. Tommy fighting his past Ranger forms is just another thing happening on the same level as Cassidy learning to hold her integrity and the Rangers fighting a monster of the day. The fight scenes in Tommy's dream are impressive, and it's refreshing to see Tommy in the flesh once more, and in a fight scene no less. Very welcomed at this point. The stock music can't keep itself away, even in a pseudo-crossover. Hearing some old music cues when the old Rangers show up would have gone a long way. It couldn't have been rights issues. Dino Thunder itself has utilized pre-existing music from past seasons before in Legacy of Power, an episode that was routinely rerun and even saw a home release. In Lost and Found in Translation, they even got to use music from Abba Ranger throughout that episode. I do not believe that something changed behind the scenes between these episodes that somehow disallowed them from using old music. Maybe it was a creative choice, maybe the creators thought using the old music cues wouldn't work, but that doesn't explain what's wrong with the Dragon Dagger. The music that plays on it kind of sort of sounds like the Dragon Dagger underwater with a couple extra notes tossed in and switched around. I really don't know how such an iconic tune was allowed to be so butchered. Ranger Wiki claims it was due to the tune being owned by Saban, but Saban didn't actually write that music cue for the Dragon Dagger. That was something from Sentai that they recreated with different instrumentation over here. And again, they used the Abba Ranger music in Lost and Found in Translation, so I don't know what's keeping them from using the Dragon Dagger music here. Like, it's stock music associated with Power Rangers. It's one of the most important music cues in Power Rangers, and somehow they lost the rights to use it? Even though, again, Legacy of Power, they could apparently use old music cues and audio, like, no problem there. There was a weird thing in Legacy of Power, though, now that I think about it. In Legacy of Power, there was some audio that was, like, oddly garbled and not very decent quality, so I'm wondering if maybe they just didn't have access to the Dragon Dagger sound effect, and instead of calling up, I don't know, whoever in Los Angeles who had the soundboard with all the Power Ranger sound effects, they were like, now let's just do it ourselves. What did it sound like? Did it sound like this? And then they played the thing, and they're like, close enough. I don't have much other issue with the dream sequences. There's a few odd things, like the evil Green Ranger laugh coming in before the White Ranger shows up. Weird choice. The Green Ranger laugh is, associated with the Green Ranger, not the White Ranger. The elephant in the room here regarding this episode is definitely the extremely bizarre choice to add stripes to the Green Ranger helmet. Weirder than that has been the persistent appearance of this helmet in merchandise, despite it only appearing once in a season outside of Mighty Morphin. I've heard several potential reasons for the presence of the stripes on the helmet. One really weird one is that it was made to make the helmet look more like the Dragon Zord. The Dragon Zord is irrelevant to this episode, and it doesn't have stripes on its head. It has one dorsal mohawk. Another theory was that whoever was recreating the helmet was using black and white reference. Okay, I doubt very much that in 2004, the only reference material available to the production itself would be monochrome. The last and certainly stupidest possibility is that they thought it just looked cool. That'd be like if a new Batman sequel came out and they colored his cowl's ears a different color than the rest of his suit. On top of that, they never make mention of it and treat it as if there's nothing different and just expect everybody to go along with it and not notice at all this very blatant change to an iconic outfit. The Green Ranger is the most popular ranger in the franchise, and definitely the most recognizable aside from the Red Mighty Morphin Ranger. A change made for seemingly no reason was sure to garner some discussion. A fan theory was that the stripes symbolized Tommy had brain damage and his memory is bad. I highly doubt Disney would be cool with even implied brain damage. This theory also falls through since the other Ranger forms don't appear radically different or altered in any way. I think this story would have had more weight if it were the story of how Tommy first gained his Dino Thunder powers. I definitely would have liked that more than how he actually did get his powers, by like just using them. It's treated like this big thing, and then when Tommy shows up, the Rangers are all like, whoa! But then the thing they're all whoaing about is just, he used Super Dino mode! Like, why wouldn't he be able to use Super Dino mode? Is there some kind of limitation on that or something? The Rangers' plot is bland. I like their determination to fight without their powers. That's a really cool moment for them. Definitely a high point for the Dino Thunder Rangers. But otherwise, this fight is just same old generic monster fight, quite literally, since this is just a revived monster they fought before. Now, Cassidy and Devin's thing, usually I'd be really happy that they have stuff to do, and they are, like, really, this is a good story for them, but it's superfluous to the plot. They could just be removed entirely. I don't really understand the hype for Dino Thunder, and an episode like this one being some fan's favorite just mystifies me. Maybe I think too deeply about it, but I like thinking deeply about it. It's why I watch Power Rangers. I like to think deeply about things, and there's a lot of really cool stuff to speculate on and analyze in Power Rangers. Kind of disappointed on this rewatch. I was so hoping on this rewatch I would see something in Dino Thunder that I didn't see before, and I would really like it, like Wild Force. Wild Force, when I rewatched that, I didn't have the best of memories about it. I remembered Wild Force being kind of a dull slog of a season, but then rewatching it, I found myself really enjoying a lot of it, and I had fun watching Wild Force. With Dino Thunder, though, yeah, it's pretty much what I remember it being. I don't care for it. Sorry. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Come, 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 come. 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 Come, 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 come.